Hey guys, today's video we're going to show you how we use E3 Formboard to create a harness drawing. So what I have opened here is I actually have E3 cable, which in background has a license of E3 Formboard. So we're going to start this off and we're just going to create a new sheet. This sheet's actually going to be a Formboard sheet. So now it's a very simple process if you know how to use Formboard. We're just going to zoom in some so we can get a good idea of where our harness is going to be built at. The database that we're using is one of our custom databases. It is a Deutsch database. It has almost every series of Deutsch inside of it. We're going to be using these DTs for as far as the experiment today. So let's get started here. The first one I'm going to use is one of these DTs. Now inside of Formboard, we start creating our harness drawing. Well, we don't have to. We could create a schematic first, but for this, we're going to create the harness right now. So I'm going to drag out this first connector, and I'm just going to place this down. And as soon as I place it down, it automatically comes out with a table. So I'm going to put this table underneath of it. What this table has is 8 pins, because this is a 8-pin connector. So each one of these rows represents each one of the pins. So now let's grab another connector here. This is a DTO 4P. I'm going to drag him out, place him down there. As you can see, it gets another table. Place him over here. Oop. Now you can see the leader follows around the connector because it is actually connected with this guy right here. We're going to pull out another DTO4. Place him down. Put his table right underneath of him. So now just starting out here, we have an 8-pin connector and 2-pin connectors. 4 pins, excuse me. So this is what we're going to use to create our harness. We're going to make a small little harness. And actually one of the things we're going to show you in the video is how we can automatically size the pins inside of each one of these connectors. So we're just going to connect up these guys here. And all I'm using is a hotkey C for a connection inside of the program. I'm going to come from here. We're going to go down. We're going to start off with something basic like this. So we're coming out of this 8-pin. We're going to send some wires up here, and then we're going to send some down to this guy. So now let's take a look at what we have on our schematic right now. If I run a bill of materials script, I have one of these DTO4 8 pins. Quantity is a 1. Its item number is a 1, which also places it down on the schematic. This DTO4 4P, there's 2 of them. Its item number is 2, which places it on each one of these. So now keep that in mind what we have here, because we're going to build up this bill of material each time as we go, so you can see the different things that we can do inside of this program. So let's add some wires in here. We're going to add first from this 8-pin up here to this 4-pin. And it's really easy to add in some wires. Let's just get onto our wire groups. And you can see we have multiple colors. Under each color we have multiple styles. So I'm going to use the GXL. You can see all the AWGs we have underneath. We'll go with a 14 gauge for right now. So if I right click, I have what's called, I can place continuously, connect wires continuously. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to start at pin 1. And I'm just going to go up here to pin 1. I'm going to go from pin 2 to pin 2. Pin 3 to pin 3, pin 4, pin 4. Hit escape. Now you can see I have 4 wires placed in, and they come across here, they go up, and they connect to here. So pin 1 goes to pin 1 up here. Pin 2, pin 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. You can see what each signal is, what each core is. It's given it an automatic number. And right here is just the target. So P2 over here. This one goes back to P1. So now again, let's rerun this bill of material and let's see where we're at. Now, keeping in mind, we used a 14 AWG. So bring this out, place that down. Now you can see we have 8 of these pins that were used. You can see these renumbered, or item numbers down here. And we also have some 14 gauge black AWG 14 placed down. Now, as far as sizing, there's no size in there yet, so that's why this is going to be at a 0. Again, we could use this as millimeters, inches. Doesn't matter which type of measurement you want to use. We just changed that in our settings. For now, I'm just running mine in millimeters squared. So again, looking over this, we have our 4 wires that come up to here. And go to each one. So now let's change this up a little bit, and let's use a different size here. Let's say I want to put down a 20 gauge. We're going to connect continuously, but I'm going to come from pin 5 to 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, 4. So now I have 4 more wires placed in, and they're connected down to this plug. So you can see that plug 1 goes to P2, and it also goes to P3. Plug 2 and plug 3 go back to plug 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's giving you the signals of each wire too. Now these can be changed to whatever you want. If I hover over this line right here, I have 8 wires passing through. If I come up here, I have 4. If I come down here, I have the other 4, because here's where it breaks. Let's rerun our bill of material. You can see now some of my item numbers change again to match where they're at on the bill of material. Right now I have 8 pins of the 20 gauge used, and I have 8 pins of the 14 gauge used. It's because it's sizing it up depending on which size wire we're actually using down here from our database. So now let's say we want to take a look at how are we going to put lengths in to this harness. So now if we want to add some lengths in, let's just break this up first. We have something in here that we can do as a insert a new node right here. So now that's just a breakpoint. What a breakpoint really does is, if I wanted to shift this around, I could actually shift it from that node right there. And that could go in a complete 360 degree. So if you found out that your harness had a breaking point right in there, it's just somewhere new that we can add a point in. For this demonstration, I just want to show it so that way we could show the different lengths and how they're going to work here. So now let's say from here to this breakpoint, we know what size this is going to be. I'm just going to say that this is going to be about 50 millimeters. I'm going to adjust the length. I'm going to say OK. I'm going to rerun this script. You can see that now I have 200 millimeters, 200 millimeters. Why is that 200 millimeters for each one? Because there's 8 conductors in here, 4 and 4. So we have 4 of the 14, 4 of the 20, and then 4 times 50 is 200. So now let's take this segment. I could do the same again. Let's say that this one's going to be 50 also. Adjust. OK. Rerun. 400 now. Why is that 400 again? Because we have 50 and 50. So if that's 50 and 50, our total length is 100. Now we could do this all the way across the harness. We could say that this could be about 25. Adjust. Okay, you can see it actually pulls it back rather than moves it forward. Depending on if we want to show it at the angle. So now our total length will be 125 from here to here. We do not have a length on here just yet. It has a 32, but it's still red. The reason it is red is because it has not been given a adjusted length yet. So let's say that this one's going to be 50 now. This arrow right here is actually the effective direction, so it's actually going to push it this way. So let's go adjust segment length, apply, okay. You can see that goes to 50. We could even take these and as far as just move them around. We can make this harness flat. You lose a connection point inside here as one of these little nodes. I could just say this is 40. Adjust. It's going to pull it back. There's our 40. Overall, it's 140. Let's just check our measurements here. Dimensions. That will allow us to use our actual 70. So now from here to here it should be 170. There's our 170, depending on which way we want to show it. And now with all these lengths again, let's just rerun the bill of material and let's see where we're at here. 560 for one, 680 for the other, because here and here is where it breaks off. So we have a 40 and a 70 there. That's how we build a quick harness and size up the pins, lengths inside of E3 Formboard.